We recently asked the Salvation Army in Bradenton, Florida, what was happening to the homeless people that are disappearing from Bradenton. They told us that they're being taken to the tent city in Tampa, so we went there.
There was a new law that was enacted on the 1st of October.
Yes.
So they took a lot of them up to Tent City.
Where's that at?
The Port of Tampa.
What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life. We are here in Tampa, Florida. This is the tent city, one of the new tent cities where they're going to be putting the homeless population in the state of Florida. So as we stand out here, this is a commercial district, but as you can see, there are actually a lot of elderly people who are residing here, and they're walking through this commercial district. Take a look around at this place. This is all commercial buildings. This is a commercial district, yet there's a lot of elderly people just roaming through. This is the so-called tent city right here, where the homeless are being allowed to stay in Florida. Now, I don't think they're gonna let us go in there. I really doubt it. But with the gates open, this is what it looks like inside. What I find crazy about this decision is that this isn't exactly the type of place where it would make sense to put hundreds of vagrant elderly people, for example, because it's all commercial districts. What I've noticed here is that as I'm driving through here, I'm starting to see a lot of elderly people walking around these neighborhoods where there's semi-trucks. I mean, look, this is not really the safest environment for somebody who's disabled to be walking around in, and I really don't think they're gonna let us go in there. I'm actually gonna go in there and try to get permission to see if they'll let us get inside, but I highly doubt it. But as you can see, this area is, well, mostly semi-trucks out here. And I think it's kind of crazy. Earlier there was a lady with a walker. There's a person right there with a walker. And this person with a walker was walking down this road. As you can see, it's a very dangerous place for people to be walking around with walkers, because this is an area of, well, it's just semi-trucks flying by. Take a look at this. I mean, there's no sidewalks here at all. And many of the people that are here are, as you can see, disabled with walkers. So I think it's kind of very dangerous that you would have a place for the homeless. This is where they're supposed to come to. It doesn't seem safe of a place for people in walkers to be put in. Let me see if there's a director here that I can talk to and see if they'll actually let us go inside. We're actually gonna go inside of the building, try to see if there's a director and see if we can have access to understand exactly what conditions people have here. This is called Tampa Hope. Now, a lot of locals actually that reside here actually call it Tampa Dope, but we'll see what it's about. Here it is. There's a doorbell I think you have to ring. Let's see what happens. All right, so we're here. We're trying to see if they're gonna let us go inside. By the looks of things, I don't think they will, but we're gonna at least try to see if we can get access inside as a visitor to see the facility. Investigative journalism. Let's see if we can get in there. They gave us a phone number to somebody. They're not interested in showing us what's going on in here, apparently, so I figured they wouldn't. I really didn't have any hope that they would show us what's going on. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna be in this area on the outskirts and try to see what's going on. Obviously, this facility is not big enough for the hundreds of thousands of homeless people that are in Florida. So what we're being told is that this is where the homeless in Florida are being shipped to. Obviously, this facility isn't even big enough for the homeless in Tampa, let alone for the entire state. And of course, their answer is just to call somebody who literally is not going to answer the phone. And that's usually how these things go. But from the exterior, you can see that there are sheds and there are tents over there. My biggest concern is, how is this a place for people who are in walkers and wheelchairs and homeless? This is a commercial district. Obviously, this is not the type of setting that's conducted for the safety of these people. I mean, look around here. We're literally in a commercial district. What I've seen was literally somebody almost get ran over by a semi-truck with a walker. So the biggest concern that the homeless population have is that the homeless people here in Florida are literally disappearing. And we're being told that they're being brought to places like this. But when you come to this place, you realize that the capacity is not enough for all the homeless people. And clearly, they must be taken somewhere else. Literally, what many people believe is happening in the state of Florida is something like what was happening in Germany back in the 1940s. Now, a lot of the homeless people that are not in these places are telling me that these places are wild and scary, but walking around the vicinity here, it does not look like this is a wild or scary place. It actually looks pretty chill and calm and quiet. It actually doesn't look like it's a chaotic scene. Like I'm doing some investigative journalism.
Because I know my director, he said he'd give you a tour.
Okay. All right, guys. So there is a protocol that they have to follow before they allow you to get a tour of the facility. Hopefully, we can get the tour of the facility. Now, this facility has less than 250 openings. Less than 250 openings for a homeless population of 30,000 in the state of Florida. In Manatee County, we're being told by the shelters there that the disappearing homeless of Florida are coming here to this facility. Obviously, this facility does not have the capacity for that, without a doubt. So what is really happening to the homeless people in Florida? Are they actually disappearing? What is happening? Could this be like the 1940s Germany, where the government made people disappear who were undesirable? This is what a lot of people in Florida are starting to wonder, because obviously these facilities do not have the capacity to handle the numbers. And we're being told in Manatee County that they're being brought up here, but obviously that's not possible. So obviously the biggest concern that I have is, one, that we're being lied to about the fact that this facility is where all the homeless are going. So it's very clear that the sheriff's offices in Florida are being very secretive about where they're actually taking the homeless people. So this is a facility here in Tampa for 250 people, and a lot of them are in walkers, disabled. And does this look like the type of place where you would want homeless people getting ran over by semi-trucks practically? Besides, there's only capacity here for 250 people, and there are plans to expand. I did go in there and talk to them. Don't accommodate for any number beyond that. So realistically, what we're looking at here is the fact that the sheriff's offices in Florida are telling us that places like this is where homeless people are going in Florida, but we're being lied to. A lot of the homeless people feel that the homeless are literally disappearing in Florida. We're being told that there's giant super shelters like these that are taking the homeless people, but those places don't exist. And the ones that do exist, imagine this. There's no sidewalks here. Look at the condition of this road here. This is where people who are in walkers and wheelchairs, look at the size of these potholes here. Look at how dangerous this is. You can see there's vagrant people all through this area now. And look at the size of these potholes. Does this look like it's conducive to tell homeless people that are in wheelchairs? So literally, the state of Florida is lying quite a bit, and they're also deceiving the people. We're being lied to. You're gonna tell me that somebody in Florida technically would be an arrestable person for refusing to go to a homeless shelter. If you're in a wheelchair or a walker, you're telling me that you're gonna be in this shelter here, right? In a commercial district where if you can't get out, look at this. Do you think somebody in a wheelchair or walker can navigate these roads here? Well, clearly, this is what homeless people in Florida have to do to not be arrestable. We're being told by the homeless that these shelters are scary, they're bad, but it looks really clean and really nice. Just from the outside environment, Katie, what would you say?
I mean, it didn't look...
It's a questionable location for a homeless shelter, but it doesn't look scary or bad. It doesn't feel unsafe at all out here. It feels normal. I don't really, a lot of people that are not going to the shelters, some of the shelters are horrible. This one doesn't look that bad at all. So the notion that the homeless people are coming to Tampa and being brought to shelters is unrealistic. Maybe they're being dumped into the streets of Tampa. That's definitely possible. But are they actually being put in? Whoa, dude. That guy didn't even look. My goodness. But the notion that the homeless people are being brought to shelters in Tampa, that's a lie. We need to find out what is actually happening. And there's something else that law enforcement knows, but the average civilian doesn't, is that in Tampa, the streets, people here live by a G code. If you're not from Tampa, you can't really be thugging on the streets of Tampa. If you're in Tampa right now, and you're on the streets, they don't let people from other cities thug here. It's a street code that they live by. So if law enforcement really were grabbing homeless people from Fort Myers and Bradenton and just dumping them off here in the streets of Tampa, the people from Tampa on the streets, they have a G code. They don't want people here. If you're not from here, you can't be here. And that's not like you can't move to Tampa, but if you're out here in the streets thugging, they live by a G code here in Tampa. You can't just come out here from another city and end up on the streets and be thugging out here if you ain't from here, because the people that are from here aren't going to tolerate it. So if law enforcement really is bringing homeless people from Fort Myers and Bradenton and just dumping them on the streets of Tampa, the people from the streets of Tampa, they're gonna start to victimize those people off the bat. Again, something that people that are civilian may not know, in the state of Florida, in the prison system, people that are institutionalized, like the homeless, for example, they don't get along by city. So you can't just grab a bunch of homeless people from Port Charlotte and Fort Myers and Bradenton and bring them here to the streets of Tampa, because in the prisons in Florida, they don't bang their gang, they bang their city. So if you grab people from another city and bring them over here, it's automatically going to be a problem. So basically, the notion that they're bringing homeless people from other parts of Florida to Tampa, the way the streets actually work here, the street politics, that doesn't make sense either. So, you know, the state of Florida doesn't have the best reputation with human rights as far as how they've treated the homeless people so far. So if people start to suspect that the state is doing something incredibly wrong, I don't know, it wouldn't be beyond question. I mean, it's not like the state of Florida has been working with due process to handle the homeless population up to this point. So why would it all of a sudden now get better? I think on our channel we have fully documented how the state of Florida's reputation with the homeless is that they have no problem working outside of due process.